Propulsion system. Dragon then deploys its drogue parachutes to stabilize and decelerate the vehicle. Then just before drogue deployment, seats automatically rotate to 26 degrees, which we just saw there, to keep the crew within acceptable G limits for entry and landing. And
excellent view.
Great view. Drogue parachutes are deployed. View looking forward.
Drogue descent rate nominal.
Descent rate nominal, copy.
Again, we're going to hear a lot of comms throughout this next 3 minutes here. This is looking forward on the Dragon spacecraft up at the chutes. Those drogue parachutes are fully deployed now, so we do expect those main parachutes to deploy here shortly.
If you're just joining us, we have now confirmed that the AX-4 crew on their return home is roughly 2.5 minutes out from splashdown, and our main chutes have deployed.
Main chute descent rate nominal.
Copy. Main chute descent rate nominal, 1,000 meters for Dragon.
We copy 1,000 meters.
Great visual confirmation as well as those comms that the 4 main parachutes have deployed. Again, we are going to be slowing down the vehicle from 350 miles per hour all the way down to just about 15, 16 miles per hour by the time that the vehicle touches down and splashes down into the ocean.
Exactly right. You mentioned these beautiful visual confirmations that we're getting. An important aspect of today's specific splashdown is that it's occurring at night.
SpaceX Dragon 800.
Copy 800 meters.
Commander Peggy Whitson confirming the spacecraft's altitude as it's making its descent into the Pacific Ocean just off the coast of San Diego in Southern California.
Yes, love that it's coming off the coast of my hometown.
600 meters.
600 meters.
And at 600 meters, we're just under a minute before that expected splashdown. The landing in water is a lot simpler and more reliable. Provides a little bit of margin against unlikely parachute issues. We did have to learn how to make Dragon waterproof as we are splashing down into the ocean. But
SpaceX copies 400 meters. Reminder to brace for splashdown.
Oh, that's a pretty cool view.
Yeah. That's right. Maintaining the vehicle's signature through things like cloud lighter and any kind of atmospheric disturbance allows us to maintain visual contact with the vehicle as it's making its final descent towards water landing.
And it's a little foggy, as you can see there.
Yeah, Pacific fog is rolling in.
We've got some very bright lights as Dragon, you can see the ocean there. Dragon is about to touch down in just a few seconds here.
And working their way towards the vehicle are the SpaceX and Axiom support teams that will be present for the next phase of our splashdown coverage today. At this point, we'll be waiting for confirmation of the crew's safe landing, and then we'll move into the phases of this mission, which are really, let's recover the vehicle, let's recover the crew, let's make our assessments, and at that point, we'll be covering.
And we have splashdown of the AX-4 crew back on planet Earth.
Welcome home.
SpaceX Dragon splashdown. We are in Stable 1.
SpaceX copies splashdown and Stable 1. On behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
And thanks for the great ride and the safe trip. And Grace is happy to be back.
We are happy to have you back home safely as well.
Some words between the Corps and our commander, Peggy Whitson, as the AX-4 crew has made it back home, splashed down at
Dragon SpaceX, for your awareness, SISTI system verifications are in progress. I will report back when recovery personnel are en route.
Dragon.
Yeah, so now you can see a couple fast boats are going to be approaching the Dragon spacecraft. They're going to start with making sure that the spacecraft is safe. They're going to do some sniff checks. They're going to pick up those main parachutes. As Dragon splashed down, the chutes were immediately cut to make sure there's no safety issues there. So we'll pick up those main parachutes up. And once the crew deems that the spacecraft is safe, then our recovery vessel Shannon can begin to approach and begin the recovery process. So we are now eagerly waiting on recovery of our Dragon spacecraft with the AX-4 crew. Dragon has already autonomously completed several steps to save itself following splashdown.
So for those of you just joining us, the return of AX-4 has gone smoothly so far, and we just got great confirmation that crew has splashed down. So Dragon successfully re-entered the Earth's atmosphere, followed by deployment of its parachutes to slow the spacecraft down to a gentle 15 miles per hour. And at that point, they successfully splashed down in the Pacific Ocean at 2:31 a.m. Pacific time, off the coast of Southern California. So at this point, like you mentioned, Jesse, we are just waiting for Dragon's recovery from Shannon.
Yeah, upon detection of landing, Dragon automatically releases the main parachutes to prevent wind from pulling the spacecraft. Dragon then automatically saves any pyrotechnics still present on the vehicle and may automatically perform additional minor system reconfigurations. The astronauts remain seated and in their suits at this point, but the onboard air conditioning keeps temperatures in check inside the spacecraft, and the communication systems on board remain powered so the crew can continue to communicate.
And as we're watching, SpaceX has 2 fast boats in their recovery fleet, which move very quickly to get to the splashdown point. And those are being followed by Shannon, the main recovery vessel, which will move into position upwind of the spacecraft. The 2 fast boats have very specific roles here in these operations. The first fast boat makes initial contact and is focused on immediate safety inspection of the vehicle, checking for vehicle integrity and any presence of hypergolic propellant vapors. This ensures that it's safe for Shannon to approach the Dragon spacecraft. Now, once Dragon is cleared for full approach, the team begins rigging the spacecraft for water recovery.
Well, you join us just as a historic moment has taken place. The AX-4 crew returning back to Earth. Thank you for joining us here on NewsX World as we cover this moment and this historic return from orbit. That for India, Poland and Hungary. The AX-4 crew has splashed down safely off of the coast of San Diego. On board are India's Shubhanshu Shukla, Poland's Slavoj Unaski Wisniewski, and Hungary's Tibor Kapu, a veteran commander, Peggy Whitson, as well, leading the mission. This is the first time all 3 countries have sent a government-sponsored crew to the International Space Station, and the first time in more than 40 years that these countries have flown astronauts into space. AX-4 also set a new record for science on an Axiom mission. Over 60 experiments were done, covering 31 different countries. From microgravity to life sciences, this mission proved the power of global partnerships. Axiom Space says it's building a new path for more nations to do research in low Earth orbit. For India, this is only the 2nd time an astronaut has gone to space since 1984. For Poland, it's the 2nd since 1978. For Hungary, the 2nd since 1980, and the first time a Hungarian has reached the International Space Station. Well, while we continue to show you these live visuals, we know that SpaceX crews are currently making their way over to the space capsule that you can see floating. We heard at the end of that briefing there of this landing that the parachutes have been cut to avoid safety issues, and here we can now see these boats making their way towards the capsule, which is being kept at a set temperature. We know, of course, that there is a lot of health checks and safety checks that need to be made for anybody who comes back to space, and that will be taking place shortly. While we continue to show you these live visuals, we're also joined by Dr. Ravi Kumar Gupta, who is a former director of the DRDO, who is joining us from New Delhi. Thank you ever so much for being here with us. Let's look now at the significance of this moment. There is so much for us to talk about, but let's first look at these countries: Poland, Hungary, and of course also India as well, sending people to space for the first time in such a long period of time. What's the significance for those nations moving forward as the leaders of those countries and governments look towards space programming?
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you very much for bringing me in. I take it that way. We in India always look at it as the entire world as a family, what we call it, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So this AX-4 mission is a perfect example of international collaboration. The people from different countries, different cultures, coming together, joining hands, to do something for the betterment of humankind. As you have just now, we have seen that the crew has just returned, and with 18 days in space, they have carried out more than 60 experiments, besides, of course, gaining a wealth of experience in this mission. They have conducted these experiments, which are going to, provide us more and more knowledge about, which will be helpful in improving the lives of the people here in Earth, and also when we go for long-term missions in space at that point of time. So this is I take it as a perfect example of international collaborations where we have to use this scientific knowledge for the betterment of humankind. Right?
Yes, absolutely. And of course, this significant moment for that factor, this private mission that has been launched, of course, with those countries involved. Do you think this is the future of science in space? These sorts of flights like AX-4, the mission, where different countries will be able to carry out their own experiments in low gravity, of course, looking forward to expanding not just our knowledge, but also looking forward with factors like sustainability and other key areas that we're trying to understand as humanity.
Sure. See, I believe that what we have achieved so far in space research, it is just a beginning. It's a small beginning, because space is vast. The entire universe is before us to explore and to learn about it, to learn the secrets of the universe, and to use the knowledge for the betterment of the humankind. So scientifically, we are just at the, I would say, at the first few steps of the ladder. What we need to explore is extremely vast. And these are baby steps, but we are going to space, setting up space stations, sending satellites, going to Moon, Mars, and the missions like Voyager, where we have gone right even beyond the realms of our solar system. But if you take a look at the entire solar system, entire universe, these are only baby steps. So I would say that this particular mission, AX-4 mission, is a landmark event, of course, but nevertheless, it is just a small beginning. And India had made a slightly late beginning. We set up ISRO in 1969. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai was the person who laid the foundations of ISRO and space research in India. But we have come a long way from there. We went to space. We set up our own satellites. We went to Mars. We went to Moon. We were the first one to discover water on Moon. So these are the way we have been progressing. And But as I said earlier also, this is just a beginning, not only for humankind, even for India also. And we have lined up a large number of series of important missions. We are scheduled to go to Moon to bring back Earth from there and analyze it further. We are scheduled to set up our own space station by 2035 and send the first module of the Indian space station by 2028. And by 2040, we are supposed to be there ascending a person, an Indian on Moon. So I think the entire world has to progress together because it is not just a kind of one person or one country alone cannot do whatever is supposed to be done and whatever is existing to be explored in the realms of space. So I think the entire world needs to come together and explore the space and enhance the level of our knowledge about space, about the universe, about the creation of universe, and where are we going from this point towards the future. All these things need to be explored. So all the best for that.
Yes, absolutely. And very quickly, but before we move on, Dr. Ravi Kumar Gupta, what is the process now for astronauts who have been in the International Space Station? Of course, a lot spoken about the two astronauts, Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, who spent an extended time in space. But what is that process now that touchdown has been achieved, and how long will that recovery process be, given the difference in environment from, of course, space to being back on Earth?
Yes, this recovery process is also equally important because, after all, the human body is designed to work on Earth in the presence of oxygen and at a certain level of gravity. Now, once we come back after such a long time, like in this case, it is 18 days in space. It is like when a person comes out of a swimming pool, the kind of feeling which comes just after a couple of hours or even 1 hour. Now imagine what is the kind of feeling it is going to be after spending 18 days in the swimming pool without the gravity, without feeling the gravity. Our entire system is tuned to work in the presence of gravity. That gives us the signs of up and down and left and right, and the entire body functions, whether it is the growth of our tissues, whether it is the functioning of our blood circulation system. Everything is designed for working here. Now, once they have touched down, they will have to be taken care of. Generally, most of the time, the astronauts have to be lifted up without letting them to bear their own weight on their own legs, because that is very crucial. That is a moment when anything, the person can. This reorientation takes time, so they are taken back, and then there is another aspect of having to quarantine them. That although we have been going to space for a long time, but even then we take precautions. We ensure that there is no contamination from the space coming to them. Plus, at the same time, their reorientation for the normal life. I won't like to comment on the details of that because these are worked out for each individual case, depending upon the individual person, depending upon the time the person is spent in the space, and several other factors. So that kind of a schedule is already laid down, and these people, all the 4 astronauts, will be undergoing that particular specifically laid down process, which will be over a few days, next few days, or maybe a week or so, and then they will be, then they will be leading the normal life as such.
Absolutely. Dr. Ravi Kumar Gupta, thank you ever so much for detailing some more information there as that AX-4 mission lands in the sea. We will bring you any further updates from that as we get them. But we move on now.